Hello, guys. We are always pleased to have you here with us at all moment to share together with you knowledge in geography, most particularly in the aspect of map reading. It's your usual forum, Intelligence Network, where we always transmit a little knowledge, a little know-how when it comes to map work. And today we'll be talking about one of the most abstract parts of geography, which is map reading, and most particularly we are going to be talking today about cross-section. It's a section of geography where many people always scare away from it because it looks a little bit abstract and cumbersome to follow the rules as specified in most textbooks, as how students are supposed to come out with a profile at the end. So today we are going to make a detailed lesson about how to come out with a cross-section profile without the use of an edge of paper, as other hosts put it. We're going to simply to draw maybe on the board. We're going to draw a graph which we're going to represent the cross-section based on what we have already on the board. Now we have the profile of the map of Uri. Uri actually is a place found in Douala, for those who know Cameroon very well, and it's at a scale of 1:100,000. Now, when we talk about a profile, what comes about your mind? To talk about the relief of that area. Actually talk about the relief and to describe the nature of the relief. And from the profile, we can easily tell how the relief is going to affect other factors of geography. It can be physical factors, most particularly might be the aspect of vegetation in that area, the aspect of drainage in that area. It can be might be also human factors, such as settlements that will occur in such an area. Some people choose to settle in particular areas because the relief are more favorable for them to live in such areas. So when you pick up a map, you don't obviously need to draw a cross-section profile if you really have a background knowledge about drawing a cross-section profile. So you don't need to draw a cross-section profile to determine or to tell you the reasons why certain phenomena occur on the map where you find them. It is simply geographical. It is because the relief of that area has favored the domination of such an activity or the domination of such a phenomenon of geography in such an area or region. So we are not going to waste so much time today. We will go vividly into the lesson of today, which has to do with drawing a cross-section. Like I mentioned, we have the map already of Douala, Wuri in particular, and its environments. We're going to work on it. Please, guys, this is just a demo class, and therefore it does not mean that what we are having here is actually the relief of Uri. So you permit me to use this as a demo class for people to understand. For others to understand how to draw a cross section when they have contours as such. Now, talking about contours, there are certain aspects that you need to have in the background before you know how to draw a cross section. There are two types of contours. By the way, when we talk about contours, what do we mean? We simply we are referring to lines on a map like we can see here that represents places having equal elevation or equal height above sea level. Some people talk about equal altitude. It's the same as equal height above sea level. And therefore, when we look on the map here, we have some lines that are drawn at a particular height. If you look at it here, you find some numbers, 50, 100, 50, 100. It varies between 50 and 100. It's telling us about the contour values. The contour values are the numbers that are being given to the contour lines. And now, in the lines here, we have two colors. For the basis of a demo class, I have chosen to use two colors to differentiate between what we call a major contour and a minor contour. So when you pick up a map sheet, you often see in most maps, you mostly find major contours and minor contours. The contours are always represented with brown or reddish brown lines. Some are thick brown, whereas others are just very thin brown. And therefore, those which are thick brown are representing the major contours. When you look at them, they have values that are most often in an even form, and therefore which can easily be divided by 2. Now, on the other hand, we have the minor contours, which on this demo lesson here is being represented with blue lines. And most often, you hardly find numbers on these contour lines, but it does not mean that they don't have numbers. If you look, for example, from the first line, which is the red line, the major contour, when we meet the next contour, which is an red line, a major contour, we find that the value has changed from 50 to 100, which means that we have climbed an altitude from 50, we are now at an altitude of 100 meters. And if we are at an altitude of 100 meters, it means that we have actually transit over other values, such as if we have 50 here, we have 60, we have 70, we have 80, we have 90 before we have 100 meters. So actually all contours have a value. Now, there is what we call the contour interval. We talk about the contour interval. When we talk about contour interval, what do we actually mean? We are actually referring to the average distance, the average height that differentiate one contour line to another. So when we look here, if we discover that if we're at 50 and the next is 60, it means our contour interval here is actually 10 meters above sea level. And if you want to look in terms of major contours, our contour interval will be 50 meters above sea level. So that is pretty simple. So now we are going now to draw the cross section and see how it actually plays. The first thing that we need to do is to know the vertical line, I mean the height of the vertical line, and then also the length of the horizontal line. So, which means we have to come out with something, as such. And for us to come out with a vertical line, we need to look, first of all, at the vertical contours. Look at the contours, how they're increasing. To identify the major contour, the highest major contour, permit me to say so, the highest major contour. And if you go by this map on the board, the highest major contour that we have here, it should be a contour 100 meters. Contour 100 meters. So, which means that the height of our profile will be at least 100 meters height. So I'm simply going to draw a line as such. Now, given that this is a graph paper, on the graph paper it will become very simple. So this is my vertical line, and then my horizontal line. How am I going to come out with my horizontal line? I'm going to take a measurement from point X to point Y, given that that's the transect on which we are working on. So if I have to take a measurement from point X to point Y, what I'll have is this. Measurement always begins from 0 centimeters. So I'm going to measure from here, right up to here.
Good morning, Mr. Tiba. Welcome to Bonnie Cafeteria.
Oh, good morning, Bonnie. How do you do today? Can you serve me a cup of coffee? Wow, guys, I am at Bonnie's Coffee Salon to take a cup of coffee. Remember, I will be back for us to continue with our lesson on cross-section drawing. While you wait for me, remember to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like and don't forget to share the videos. Ciao, I'll catch you back in a jiffy.